Hello viewers, my name is Wanju Gunderi and I'm the founder of Geuza Wazo Foundation that seeks to create awareness on mental and intellectual health. Now, May is a Mental Health Awareness Month and I'm excited to bring to you a new guest and I'll ask her to introduce herself.
Hi guys, my name is Cynthia Chabaya and I'm a psychologist.
Okay. So the main reason why I want us to have this discussion, I hope we can talk about high functioning anxiety. Yeah, because it's something most of us deal with and most of us don't even know we have it. So what really is high functioning anxiety?
High functioning anxiety. I think you've described it pretty well. It's something most of us suffer from, but hatuko fully aware of what it is. It is frequent and persistent worry, where you constantly worry about the future to a point you're rarely in the present. So it's not a disorder per se, as in the DSM-5 psychology, but it's a mental condition affecting a lot of people.
Yeah. So when you say you are worrying about the future, exactly what are you worrying about? Or what thoughts are going on?
We have so many things we worry about in our daily lives. It could be work, it could be your kids at school, it could be your household, your house help. It's a whole lot of things. So with this particular disorder, you can be a very good performer at your workplace, but you really struggle with it. You can be the super mom, you can be the best friend, always there, always reliable, but beneath it is this condition.
So basically, you are a super mom. As in, you are every day you strive to be the best mom you can be. As in, you don't want to fail at it. You want to be.
You end up like overperforming. If you're at work, you like take excess workloads to a point where you even compromise your mental health. You can't say no. You basically have no boundaries.
So, how will I know that I have high functioning anxiety?
There are very many symptoms with high functioning anxiety. Number one, first, you tend to overperform. You always want to stand out, even at work. And then it comes from a place where you feel like, if I don't outshine the rest, I can even lose my job. You get that? Then number two, you overanalyze things. Even a simple conversation, a simple mistake you made, you feel like, I should not have done that. You get? And we are all human. You kind of expect 100% from yourself instead of the kawaida 90, 80, 70. So you end up being very hard on yourself. And your friends most likely tell you, you try so hard, but you beat yourself up a lot.
So like when I try to remember, maybe when you were in high school, and say it's chemistry and I've gotten 70 and everybody else is getting 40s and 50s. Then I'm like, oh, I should have gotten 90%, and now I'm so stuck on I didn't get the 90%.
You're stuck on that and you also beat yourself up. So it's not just getting stuck at a particular issue, it's you feeling like I failed. I don't deserve success, I don't deserve good things, I'm such a failure. It's like negative self-talk. To a point, some people even oversleep or undersleep. So you can get insomnia or oversleeping because once you clock to bed, you can't sleep well because you're stressing about things you've done previously. And then about oversleeping is sometimes when we think so much, we lose energy. And then how does your body compensate? It sleeps. So you end up sleeping a lot.
So, or sometimes you might undersleep. You might not sleep enough.
The guys who don't sleep when they're stressed or when they're very anxious. So they'll go to bed, but they'll keep on tossing and turning, thinking about something at work, like a presentation. They think about what they did not do.
And maybe previously, before the presentation, they were thinking about all the T's and everything they must do to make it perfect.
So with this particular condition, there's no rest. Because even if you tell yourself, like, I want to take a break for 20 minutes and then get back to work, you'll find that in your break time, you'll be thinking about the work instead of just relaxing. So it's persistent and intense worrying about every single detail.
So is there any other symptoms that we've left out?
You can find that a simple assignment that used to take you 1 hour now takes you 3 hours because you really seek perfectionism. Yeah.
Okay.
You strive so hard to be perfect to a point it's compromising your mental health.
And your productivity.
Even in dating life, you find yourself, you always want to overcompensate, overperform to a point you never receive. So you give a lot. Yeah.
All right. And how does someone treat or overcome high functioning anxiety?
We have therapy for that. We also have medication, but that has to come from a psychiatrist. And then here we have like changing, it's called like to rewire your self-thoughts, like how you think and how you analyze issues, which you can get through therapy. And also, I think if you're watching this and if you're going through like anxiety, you can learn to love yourself better, like know you deserve, like know you're worthy, even though it does not feel like it. Yeah.
So when you were talking about therapy, is it, because there are many forms of therapy, talk therapy, is it the one that really suits high functioning and anxiety? Or
I don't want to give a blanket approach to therapy, but I want you to leave that to the professional. Like if you go see a therapist, they will know. They will work with you. You don't really have to struggle about what kind of therapy you're going to receive when you go to a therapist.
And then now, let's say you're rewiring your thoughts because you're used to thinking this way that makes you procrastinate, overthink.
There's procrastination to the disorder. It's a very key symptom.
So you're procrastinating, you're overthinking, and you're not sleeping. And now you need to rewire that so that you can become a healthy and a productive person. So how do you, let's say generally, because they might not apply to everyone, but what are some of the general things that you can do to help rewire your thinking or how you work?
I think that you have to go to therapy for that test, for real. But if you're watching this and maybe you can't even afford therapy, as per now, you can start by changing how you talk to yourself. Instead of telling yourself like, shit, I messed up, you can say something like, I normally do well most of the times and I failed this once. And this does not define me.
Okay. Now, what are the causes of, sorry, I think I should have asked you the causes before I asked you how to treat it, but what are the causes of
high functioning anxiety? They're very broad causes of this disorder. First, we have like personality. The guys who just pursue excellence, they always want everything to be top notch. That's also a factor. Then number 2, we have even genes. The guys who are predisposed to anxiety. Genetically. Then we have trauma. And I think I want to dwell on trauma because for most of us, so I think and feel strongly, it comes from trauma. Like you've been raised in a place, for example, where there was so much lack. Like you lacked so much growing up. So your mind always thinks in the worst case scenario. And guys with this disorder always think something bad is going to happen to me. Even if you have the money, you feel like I have to save all of it because I don't know about tomorrow. That's anxiety. It's you saving from a place of anxiety, not because you really want to invest in the future. You're getting, it's the what if something happens. What if, like the rainy days, but not what if I want to buy a house. You get the difference.
So it's like you're saving just in case, so that you're not caught flat-footed.
So you always expect something bad is going to happen to you.
So when you talk about trauma, it comes also from a parenting aspect, like the frameworks within which we were raised.
It's much more broader than parenting, honestly. It's socioeconomic demographics, than parenting as a skill now.
Okay, so the reason why I'm coming down to parenting is because, before you come out into society, you are raised first in your family, and then there's the aspect of parenting. So within these frameworks that you are raised by your parents, they shape how you go into society, right? So that is why I want to bring in the aspect of toxic parenting, so that I ask, do we have toxic parents? or do we have toxic parenting?
Do you have toxic parents?
Yeah.
I think we have toxic parentings because most of our parents honestly did the best they knew how back in the day. And there was not so much knowledge about mental health, about how to like raise kids properly in terms of taking care of their physical needs and the emotional needs. There was so much emphasis on the physical needs.
Also, I think considering the fact that we had just come from a colonial era that was really brutal.
I feel like as Black people, we struggled so much with lack. And growing up, the biggest point of focus for our parents was ensuring you have shelter and you've eaten.
And you have education.
And you have education.
Yeah.
And this education is supposed to get you a job that is going to rescue you from what they were struggling with, what we are still struggling with.
Which now begs the question, why do our parents try to control us so much?
So as I said earlier, they were doing the best they could with what they had. So they thought by telling you to become a doctor or a lawyer or all these complex courses, they were actually trying to protect your future and safeguard your future so that you don't have to experience what they experienced or what their fathers experienced. And that's why most of our parents' stories are normally from this point of, when I was your age, I used to walk from a particular area to a particular town, you get that. They went through so much. And them forcing you into a course, I know it hurts and it's not right, but also understand where they're coming from. So I kind of feel like as Black people, we've had anxiety so much in our generations. So it came from dad and mom, now it's coming to me. You're placing me in a place where it's almost like if I don't pass, I'm not worthy of your love, I'm not worthy of your affection. And most of us can relate, more so in high school, in primary school, like unachapwa for failing. Instead of mom asking you, okay, you dropped this term, what happened in school? It's kiboko. And now as a grown-up, you end up fearing even taking new ventures because you always feel like if I fail, it's something bad. So failure becomes something you like run away from, and you have to fail on your way to success. You get how anxiety plays out in our lives. Yeah.
So apart from now issues, maybe matters education, and how else will anxiety impact on you when you're growing up?
I think even things like marriage, like for us ladies, we were groomed for marriage sana. You know, like as a good woman, you should run errands, you should never ask for help. And some of us have anxiety because of that. You feel like it's something you don't want to venture into because it's so demanding to a point you feel like, I don't want it. It's gonna be hell. And then for women, you find out that they give us so much pressure on what we should do as wives to a point that you rarely receive help even from your spouse or even ask for help. It shows up in very distinct areas of our lives. It's something that I cannot tie to a particular area, like only school. But for most of us who have it, you like end up realizing you have it after being in work settings. You're always so nervous. You always think about how I will get laid off if I don't perform to my level best. You end up procrastinating. You end up like overanalyzing. So that leads them to therapy. But in other areas like parenting and relationships, it only shows up during therapy.
Yeah.
How
about when our parents used to compare us and tell you if you can't be like so-and-so, you can't perform like so-and-so. How does that bring out the high-functioning anxiety in someone?
It does, because it teaches me to compare myself with other people. It teaches you the same thing, right? So if, for instance, you're 25, right? You want to compare yourself with guys who are 25 on social media, and you find that if you're not excelling as much as they are, you constantly feel like I'm not doing enough in life. To a point you even disregard your effort, forgetting that we all have different opportunities and different resources and advantages. So it really, really, really impacts us. It teaches us that we are not enough unless I'm better than you.
Then so when you try to overcompensate and the aspect of boundary.
So I feel like overcompensating in that angle, you always work, you like overwork, because guys who have high functioning anxiety are normally very busy. Most of them are normally very busy, but it does not mean productive. So you always feel like I want to catch up with, I want to put up with. You get? Yeah.
So how about me being able to put up boundaries, coming from a place where I've been compared and I have the anxiety?
I think I get what you're asking. You're asking more of acceptance. Like if I'm always looking for validation and I want to feel like I'm enough, do I have to overstretch my boundaries or does it lead to that? And I will say yes, because you feel like, and it's so subconscious, you cannot always tell you're doing that. In fact, like you really, really have to be very self-aware to realize sometimes you push your boundaries to accommodate because you fear being abandoned, you fear being left, you fear not fitting in. You get that? Yeah. So for ladies in dating, you find that you do things you've been taught men like, not things Tess likes, or not things Chabaya likes. You get that? And for men, because I feel like men are normally left out in conversations.
Like
so I'm going to
just
bring them here. For men, you find that most men, when they lose their job, when they lose their wives, they can't even define themselves anymore. And that is also anxiety, you know. Who you are as a person is so much tied into what you do at work and how much you earn. That is how it can reflect for them. And then for us, we tend to, like we have so much pressure about looking fly, you know, being, I don't know, what color of your complexion, things like that. Yeah.
So, how do you now, assuming now you have high functioning anxiety, but as a result of toxic parenting, right? How do you undo it?
If you're still in your parents' zone, or you're out of your parents' house.
Well, let's start from this point where you are in your parents' house and you've discovered, my parents, the way they're raising me is not
right.
Yeah. How do they?
I feel like you can try talk to them, but most African parents are not normally very open for conversations. In fact, they feel like unajifanya mjuaji. I think it's a very common term that most of us were told growing up.
And you are misunderstanding.
Yeah. But I feel like nowadays in schools we have psychologists, right?
I think there should be.
Like you can always confer to a professional who can in turn address your mom and dad. If that is not possible, and let's say you're out of the house, you can get to understand your pain and where it came from, extend them some grace, because as we said, it's not toxic parents, it's toxic parenting, right? And understand from their mental capacity, they were doing what they thought was best for you. But you know better, you're out of their nest, and you can pursue better for yourself.
We are coming to the end of our show, and before we sign out, we'd like to ask Cynthia to let us know where we can find her on social media, as well as give us any information that she feels could be useful for us.
I'm on Instagram under mental health, KE_. I'm also on Facebook, Mental Health by Chabaya. And we're also in Kahawa and Dani if you want to like have a face-to-face interaction with me for a therapy session or something of the sort. But we really post so much mental health content on our Instagram page and Facebook page. I will advise you guys to follow me.
We have come to the end of our show. And do you feel like you relate to our topic today about high-functioning anxiety? If yes, let us know in the comment section. We're going to leave Cynthia's contact address in the comment section as well. And if you feel you want to get to her for assistance, I know she's going to be readily available. So until next time, bye.
Bye.